All right, let's shift over to streaming and open up Hulu, which probably had the biggest buzziest release in terms of streamers over the weekend with Not Okay, the new movie starring Zoe Dutch about an ambitious young woman desperate for followers and fame who fakes a trip to Paris while a terrifying terrorist attack is happening there, and then fakes that she was there for the terrorist attack. It's a pretty interesting premise. Definitely sets up for a lot of like touchy issues. Art, how do you feel like Not Okay handled that interesting idea?
Where'd you fall on I Care a Lot?
I ultimately found like that was maybe a little bit too mean.
Meaner than this?
Well, so I think I liked the place that this ended up with its lead character.
I agree.
I saw some people who didn't like the ending. Really? I thought this was actually a very good ending.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a movie that begins with a a title that says, warning, you might get a seizure. There's some other elements. Also, the protagonist is a female and she's unlikable. And people were confused from that. And at first, like, I think people took that as like an actual content warning, and they didn't realize that was part of the creative process, which is funny and corny at the same time. But I am not one who cares if the protagonist is unlikable or gets as dirty as they could possibly be, because I think that she embodied this character to perfection. A person who wants nothing more than to be known and acknowledged and be famous in any way, shape, or form, that is willing to say anything out of pocket. Recently, Netflix had that one with Rebel Wilson where she ended up growing up a lot faster.
Senior year.
So a lot of the juxtaposition was like, I'm going to say a joke from the 90s to see if it fits here.
Right.
This is a movie that's able to take that vulgarity, which that movie relied on as well, to say something you're not supposed to say, and just say it, have a character go, wait, what did you just say? And then just move on to the next thing, because it showcases how she views the world. I agree with you as well that there's two movies going on here. The one of the person who's willing to take advantage of a terrible situation, going as far as saying that one of her biggest regrets in life is not being able to acknowledge 9/11 with everybody because she was on vacation. So she feels really bad. She wasn't able to be there.
It's so funny because like I have seen a lot of people.
It's bad. That's the thing. A lot of people think that we're laughing with her and not laughing at the fact that there are people like her.
That's the thing. And I think that that's sort of been the divide with people watching this movie. Is there's some people who maybe think because she's the protagonist, because she's Zoe Dutch, this actress that we like to root for, that the movie is asking us to root for her too. And while I do think the movie is asking us to like empathize with elements of her character, I don't think the movie is trying to say that she's a good person. I mean, one of the very first things she does in this movie is say to a group, say to a black guy and a queer woman, like, oh, I wish I were a minority. It's like, I think this movie is very clear on what it thinks about this person. But like, yeah, I don't know. I found that to be pretty interesting. I think it is a little bit like, it's not sure exactly how far it wants to go in certain aspects of that like problematicness, of that unlikability, of how glib it wants to be about her taking advantage of this situation. But I don't know. I think Zoe Dutch is really good at these types of performances. She seems to really love playing these unlikable female protagonists. And I think she mostly carried me through this movie.
I would agree with you. I think she's done a really good job. Not too long ago, Buffaloed was the one that really stood out to both of us, where she's doing the same thing. It's not a likable role where she's taking, she becomes a debt collector, and is trying to like finagle the system in that way. Here is the same thing. It's just she realized another opportunity to be able to make it. She saw Emily in Paris and said, I could do that, but better. This is also the second time that she's worked with Dylan. Recently, they did The Outfit together, which I had just pulled up here. I thought they were really good in that movie. They kind of play off of each other all in one setting. So this was kind of interesting to see them in the dynamic of kind of like he's made it and I think he said he was making fun of who's with the Kardashians right now?
Oh shoot,
Pete Davidson. He's like, I'm doing my best, Pete Davidson, and I know a little
That's
James
funny.
Franco because she came out in the interview run. I don't know if you heard her. She said if there's one
didn't.
person, she's like, I think they were playing like FMK. And she's like, there's only one K I have in my life, and it's James Franco. He's trying to embody every worst
Wow.
male aspect that she's probably dealt with in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And then contrasting that with an actress who honestly has just, I don't want to say killed it, but she has been very solid in every movie that she's been in. Mia Isaac appears as someone who's in a support group who's kind of helping her pull the Fight Club thing where she's just taking notes off of what they're saying so she can take their trauma and then make content off of it. And Mia Isaac is a character who was in a school shooting, and because of that, she has become sort of like a, I don't want to call it an influencer. It would be like an ambassador, someone who a lot of people are going to go see speak at these rallies, and she becomes buddy with her.
She's sort of,
she just did a great job in Don't Make Me Go. She's been solid.
Yeah. It's funny because she's having one of those moments where it's like, oh, now you're just in everything, right?
Yes.
But it's
But
like
she's
she's
good.
clearly talented, and people are trying to find a place for her. And yeah, she's very, very good in this movie. We mentioned we both like the ending. The ending relies a lot on her really selling that moment more so than Zoe. And yeah, I thought she was excellent in this movie.
Yeah. I think a lot of people will be split on the type of comedy that they're going for. There is a Hunger Games joke that is made in this movie that was so out of pocket, so uncalled for. It made me laugh so hard. And it comes from a director, writer-director, who previously had done Blame, and I know she started in it as well. Quinn Shepard is also in this movie. There is a sequence where she does another group talk. She is the director, playing herself as a director who can't take the criticism. So I like that type of humor that she carries with her as well. So if you're curious in catching this movie, it's on Hulu. I practically would give it a junior price if this actually had a theatrical run like it was originally supposed to have, considering it was a Fox movie. It's streaming at home. You could turn it off if it becomes a little too much to you. But I say give it a chance. Hulu also has Buffaloed. Give that a chance too. I think both of these were pretty funny. And like Zach was saying, you watch these movies going, why would you make it about her? Wouldn't you make it about somebody else? Isn't that the point? And I think the movie takes that question and embodies it by the end of it. So check it out. Not okay. And as another time that I could shout it out, White Lie, because I'll always shout out White Lie when we get stories like this that loves to take a lie to the next level.
Yeah. Definitely shout out White Lie and shout out Buffalo too. I think if you're looking just for like the best Zoe Dutch thing that you can stream right now, probably Buffalo would still be my pick. But I would recommend Not Okay.